ins this evening?
Yes, Mr. President. Ms. Shrey Kellums?
Hi, ma'am. If you could say your first, last name, spell your last name and your address, please. You'll have 5 minutes.
Okay. My name is Sharia Kellums, Kellums, 3450 Boston Road, and I'm in Brunswick. I just have basically a little comment that's been bothering me. I really can't understand why Strongsville is so focused on having this exit on Boston Road, because when I drive down Howe Road, most of the traffic, it turns onto Drake. And I'm not trying to say, because I feel bad for Drake, but I think that would be the better place for it. And there's got to be a reason why you guys are set on Boston Road. I have ideas. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's just really, I don't understand it. I don't see the problem with the Brunswick people. I see it more with Strongsville, and mostly up by the mall, going out to eat, that's where it's the worst. But as you go down and you go to Drake to Boston Road, there's not that much traffic. And that's all. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming up in your comments. Anybody else?
Mr. James Evanoff?
I think you were here last time.
Yeah, I was.
Your first, last name, spell your last name, please, and your address.
James Evanoff, Evanoff, 3649 Ascot Drive, Brunswick. Couple things. Last time I was here, I spoke about some failed leadership from Strongsville City Council. And I'm going to speak about it again a little bit tonight. An article from April 20th, 2019, the Post newspapers, referencing Council Matt Schott, said, and I quote, "A roundabout at Howe and Shermer is a step in the right direction to controlling traffic on Howe Road." Well, the city had put some bids out for some things, and per an article from the August 25th edition of Cleveland.com in 2020, they agreed to a change order to pay for design changes and then immediately tabled all work and any proposal for that roundabout there. The traffic problem you guys keep referencing with Howe Road is a problem of your own making, because you won't do anything about it. May 11th, 2021, Greater Ohio Policy Center releases an online article. NOACA board says no to interchange at Boston Road. Here we are, less than 2 years later, and we're still going about it. Last year, Strongsville City Council does what? They sign a contract after getting some grant money with the state saying, hey, we need to investigate an exit at Boston Road. Have you guys directed any investigation into cost, feasibility, or traffic relief to a Drake Road location? Because I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to public records everything. And I'd like to see where you guys spent the money on that. Because if you didn't, that means you guys are lying about things. You are intent on putting this on Boston Road. Mr. Short, you talked about your economic development plans and with your industrial parkway. Will you sit here and commit right now to the city of Strongsville will never, ever, ever in its lifetime ever pursue a Drake Road or a Boston Road exit to Fultz Industrial Parkway? Can you give me that commitment right now? Can the city write an ordinance right now saying that that will never happen? You're sitting there smiling. That tells me what? It's on your guys' agenda. That's what you're telling me right now by sitting there with that smirk on your face. Mr. Carbone, in your 2020 election information from your own site, you champion a Boston Road exit and a Fultz Industrial Parkway expansion. March 15th, from another Post article. No, I'm sorry, this one here is from Strongsville's own city council page, city government page. March 15th, 2022, Mayor Persiak says meetings again to move project forward at Boston Road. I speak about failed leadership. Your only leadership you seem to have is a full intention on putting an exit at Boston Road. Where is your traffic ordinance? Because Mayor Persiak says we follow the law. Where's your traffic ordinance that says, hey, delivery drivers, you can't be on this road at this time? Where's your ordinance amending your garbage contracts and or all future garbage contracts that Republic Services won't be on that road? I don't see it anywhere. I didn't see it up here tonight. So that's what I'm talking about here. It's your guys' city. Here, how's another one for leadership? You keep talking about you want to follow the law and everything. Why isn't this council at least putting an emergency resolution forward tonight saying, not only are we going to pay for whatever we have to incur, since we want this so bad there, we'll pay all of Brunswick's share if the state don't pay for it, including moving a high-pressure gas line. I don't see that on the agenda tonight. Why not? Or how about saying we encourage the state of Ohio, if they're going to use eminent domain to remove people from their homes, they overpay tremendously and give the people the money and relief they need now so they can move on with their lives. A lot of the people that you're going to take their homes from for this project, they probably have mortgages, if they have one, at 3%. What's the current rates? 6? What does that mean? You have less borrowing power if you had to take a new mortgage. And I can guarantee you, I know exactly what the plan is. We're going to wait until the market gets a little soft, and we're going to give people less time. If you guys want to be about leadership, act like real leaders and say, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we want to do it.
Next person?
Mr. Scott Graham?
Mr. Graham, first, last name, spell last name and your
Scott
address, please.
Graham, Graham, 19211 Timber Creek Circle. So I'm in the Strongsville side. Just want to make some comments about the same topic. Living on the Strongsville side, we don't live right on Boston, but we live in development off Boston. We're concerned about Boston Highway. I think it's pretty obvious. The mall may be part of the issue. He's right about most of the traffic dissipating at Drake, and would that traffic now use this exit? Probably. But I think it's all because of development of Western Strongsville. We don't want Boston Road to become a highway, especially the trucks, and it just seems like that's what's going to happen. So just wanted to make those comments. One final comment, I really didn't come here prepared to talk. Also the celebration, by some of the people that were so against Howe Road and now celebrating don't seem to have that same care about the people along Boston. Seemed to be a lot of effort behind Howe Road and taking care of those people, but now that's Boston Road, everybody's celebrating it. So that's all I had to say.
Ms. Nancy Fragnoski?
Good evening. My name is Nancy Fragnowski. That's F as in Frank, Rognowski. I live at 465 Pembroke Cove, Brunswick. I live off of North Carpenter, so have my concerns, as everyone else, with the interchange there at Boston. I realize I won't get answers to these questions right now, but I'm curious. We talked about the study that's being done that Strongsville's conducting on the Boston Road. I'm curious what the status is of that study, who is doing that study, and what exactly do they look at in determining this. That's pretty much just what I want to say, but obviously entering my opinion again that this is just not a good move for the people of Brunswick and those people of Strongsville that live in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mike Kellums?
Good evening, my name is Mike Kellums, Kellums, 3450 Boston Road, the jewel of the north coast of Medina County, Brunswick. I'm here to discuss about the I-71. I just need some observations. I didn't bring any notes or anything like that. And matter of fact, watched an interview on one of the news stations. You know, it's the highest, you know, Route 82 is the highest accident rate in Cuyahoga County. A few members of council have stated it too. It's like, we created this mess, we're going to Disney World. You created the mess on 82. Yes, it is a mess. Then sometimes you try to compare it to with our 303. Our 303, if we have an hour and a half of rush hour in the morning and an hour and a half of rush hour at night, we're lucky. And I personally know that for a fact. But 82 is a problem. I agree with it, but keep it in Strongsville. There's no reason to disrupt our lives in Brunswick on that side. Just no reason at all. You have Drake. You could put a slip ramp on Howell Road. There's plenty of property there. You have a state representative in your back pocket. He goes, you know, I see him go for, you know, things in Strongsville more than anywhere else that he represents. I had contact with him, and when a representative that I can't vote for, I couldn't help out in the least way, and he contacts me and wants to sell me on it, saying that we need this, it's for Brunswick's good and Brunswick's welfare, you know it's wrong. When our own governor says that the House bill was passed unconventionally, you know, it was slid in there. Why is Tom Patton so on board with Strongsville? Somebody put the bug in his ear. This is what we want, Tom. Get this for us. And he snuck it in there. Now we have to. I've been in contact with Senator Rumachuk and Representative Miller, and they're working on it at a state level. But that's all I have to say. It's getting out of hand. Strongsville created the problem at 82. It is a problem. I agree, and it's probably a high accident rate. There's no doubt about it. You got all those trucks and cars coming off, but you created the problem. Fix the problem in your city. Thanks. Appreciate
Thanks for your comments.
Mr. Jeff Moldine? Sorry.
Thanks for your time. It's Jeff Molden, Jeff-Moulden. I live 3218 Hartwick Circle in Waite Farms in Brunswick. And I just wanted to start off, this is the first time I've come. Thank you for your time. I don't want to be confrontational, okay? I wanted to just tell you my story. I was a longtime Strongsville resident, okay? I went to Baldwin Wallace. I lived in the apartments, Cherry Tree, Chestnut Lake. When I got out, I loved Strongsville, okay? I moved away, I came back. Whenever I came back, I wanted to find a good place to live. I was getting married, okay? And I knew I was gonna have a family. And I saw Boston Road, I saw Waite Farms going in, and I thought to myself, my wife wants a nice neighborhood where kids are gonna grow and grow up with their families. To me, it didn't matter whether it was the Strongsville or the Brunswick side. It was that area. And I totally consider that a community. I run all the time. I would go on bike rides. I take my kids. That was weird, sorry. I go through Chandler Commons all the time, and I view that as a community, okay? And my point and the reason that I don't want this slip ramp or this ramp at Boston Road is because I am 100% confident, and I have been for the last 10 years, that when it goes in, Boston Road between 130th and Pearl Road will turn into a place that is over years going to be commercialized. And it will cause me to find another place to go, okay? I'm staying here. I know that I live in Brunswick and you guys are mostly concerned about Strongsville, I understand. But I'm staying in this area because I love the area. As a matter of fact, I love your town. I belong to the rec center here in Strongsville. I pay twice as much to go to the rec center. I'm sure I've seen some of you people at the rec center because I love it. It's a great place. I go to eat in Strongsville all the time. I do everything. I go to the mall all the time. This is my community, okay? But when you put that ramp in, if you're able to force it in, and I do not like the way that it was put into the bill, I emailed Mike DeWine, I did all of that. If you put that in, it will cause me and families like me to move, okay? It will, 100%, because I don't want to live, and I hate to disparage any area, but I don't want to be how Parma is, where you have a street with all these great houses and great neighborhoods, and you have a McDonald's or a gas station at the end of your street, okay? I live away from the highway. I live away from Boston Road. I know these people are a lot more affected probably than I am, but I'm trying to rally my neighborhood to get them to come because I feel safe letting my kids play with the other kids in the neighborhood. If that goes in, I will not, okay? I will not. I've already told my wife she has no choice in it. If that goes in, I'm out. And it makes me mad because 5 years ago, I looked at moving to Hinckley. I looked at moving to Medina. And my wife pressured me to stay in that area, and we threw a whole bunch of money into our property. And I know a lot of people in our development did too, because we want to be part of this community. But when things like this happen, and when you commercialize an area that, in my opinion, I don't know if any of you live there, is the best part of Strongsville and the best part of Brunswick, you're just ruining it. And you already have so much commercial industry, and you're getting so many more tax dollars than Brunswick is, and that's on another meeting that we probably have to have. But why would you destroy one of the nicest areas of your community to put a ramp in, which we all know ultimately is going to go to the Fultz Parkway, okay? We can say that we don't believe that now. We know eventually if that ramp goes in, it will be. When the construction is done, all the trucks will be going back and forth. If you extend Fultz Parkway, even if you don't intend for it to be a throughway, that's what it's going to be. And it's going to ruin that community from the day that it happens. And I know, and I don't know where any of you people live, but I know if you live there, you wouldn't want it either, okay? And that's all I have to say. So what I'm saying is whether this happens in 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, please rethink it. Think of other opportunities, other areas that you could put it, because you're ruining a community of people that want to live there, that live there for a long time, but then you're ruining a community of people like me and in my neighborhood with 6-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids that are going to be gone, okay? I'm flat out telling you that. So I thank you for your time. I don't want to be confrontational, but I wanted my opinion to be known.
Thank you very much.
That's all that signed in, Mr. President.
Is there anybody in the audience that did not sign in that would like to come up to the podium? Yes, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Ed Radzminski, Radzminski. My address is 19 North Carpenter Road. So I have the lowest address on North Carpenter. I reach out the side of my house and I touch Strongsville. So this potential interchange has a major impact on me and my life and my family. I had no plans to talk tonight. I was just going to come and listen. But my neighbors have inspired me. I truly see this as a Strongsville issue. I've lived in this house since 1999, so 23 years. I've seen the growth of Strongsville. I've seen the growth of Brunswick. I know the traffic patterns, maybe better than any of you. The issue is not Boston Road. The issue is Howe Road. If you were to take and from Drake Road to Boston Road, just in that area alone, all right? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go from Shermer to Drake Road. Made 3 lanes, a northbound, southbound, and a turn lane. You greatly alleviate all traffic issues that your city has created. And because once you get, as it's been already said, once you get past Howe Road, boom, zero. It doesn't happen. There's very little traffic. I lived it 23 years. So I don't see where it's incumbent on Brunswick and its residents to fix the problem that was created by the growth in Strongsville. And I understand growth. I mean, that's good. And I also understand that most of you here could probably care less of inconveniencing 1,000 people for the good of 100,000 people, or as you might see it that way. That's not how we see it, okay? I have spent the last 20 years improving my property from my golden years, all right? I've done the windows, the doors, the roofs, okay? All of those things, all the mechanicals, the air conditioning, the furnace, blown-in insulation, foam, all of that. Why? To enjoy my golden years. Now, where I am in my golden years, I'm 69, soon to be 70, I'm robbed of that. Eminent domain does not give me replacement value. I went out looking at properties over the weekend. To duplicate what I have in Brunswick would be in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. Are you going to give me that? And then after that, who's going to pack me up and who's going to move me? Who's going to pay for those expenses? And, oh geez, I don't have an HOA, but now I'm going to have to go to a community that has an HOA. Who's going to bite that bullet? I'm not in my earning stages anymore. My swimming pool has one hole in the bottom and it's dripping out, okay? The funds are going away. I don't have a way to replace those funds. I'm stuck. Do not force me out of my home. Do not force me to accept a lower standard of living that I've built for myself. You've done it for yourself and for your families, and you want to protect that. I want to protect it for my family as well. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I have a different subject matter. Can I?
Absolutely. Come on up to the podium. First, last name, spell last name and your address, please.
Robert Winwood, Winwood, 13801 Blazy Trail, Strongsville. 39-something year resident here. I think most of you are familiar with me. My issue is Blazy Trail. My wife and I were walking our dog tonight, and we saw the signs up saying that there's going to be resurfacing and repaving. Tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. Would like to have known that a week ago or 2 weeks ago. We just moved our RV into our driveway from our regular storage unit. Gave that up because during the summer and fall it'll be in the driveway. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out next week to go on our planned RV vacation for 4 or 5 days. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're going to do these kinds of things, hallelujah, Blazy Trail needs to be resurfaced, but we'd like some advance notice. I have not talked to my neighbors yet, but I think I speak for the majority of the people on that street that have boats, RVs, trailers, or whatever in their yards. We need a little more advance notice than a sign up on a orange cone saying tomorrow it starts. Do we know how long this is going to last? Is there any projection? My wife used to be in the safety service business, and she's predicting at least 90 days to six weeks to something like that. I don't know.
Rob, what I'll do is I'll have Joe Walker call you tomorrow.
But
Just
Thank you, Your Honor.
when you sit down, give me your phone number.
If I had known last week, I would have kept our RV spot, and it wouldn't be a problem. But I had no way of guessing, no way of knowing. So that's my issue. But thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else like to come up to the podium and speak?
Mr. Winwood, I need your,
I appreciate, again, everybody coming up and their comments.
I know.
And again, I think there's a lot of assumptions we just don't know yet, but we're going to be mindful of everything. And once we get these plans and it goes through the process, we're actually going to, I think I can speak for everybody here, we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to look through these engineering plans and see where our next step is from there. So you have that promise from us. Going to go right to ordinances and resolutions.